right, it is time for another episode of Grateful Gratitude with LoLo and Lexie, and we've got a great topic for you today, forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yes. So today we're going to talk about forgiveness, and a lot of times people think that when you are forgiving, you're forgiving someone else. And the most important thing that we feel about forgiveness is you have to forgive yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And by forgiving yourself and accepting that whatever's happened is in the past, and it's happened with someone that you cannot control, then you have more peace.
Or just with an event or anything, yeah.
Right. And when you look at, when you are having a problem with someone else, a lot of times it's because you're keeping a scorecard. They've hurt you and you're not going to forget that, and then you're going to hurt them back, and then when you hurt them back, they're going to hurt you. And so a lot of times we have traumatic events or memories that are keeping us from forgiving someone. We're also keeping ourselves from forgiving ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I think what's something that we feel is really important is to remember the past is the past and we're living in the present. Yeah. So if it happened in the past, that's fine. Make peace with it. Know that you can't control the person that you're upset with, and you can control yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes a ton of sense, and there's nothing at all you can do about the past.
Nothing. You can't go back. There's no time machines.
No matter how bad, whatever happened, happened.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, with forgiveness, you're resolving the issue. You're dealing with it, you know.
You're facing it, yeah. And the thing is, if you need to go to the past and you need to say, this is what I would have done different. I wouldn't have done this, or
right.
If you can kind of analyze that and say, the only way I'm going to get through it is by changing it in my mind, so to speak. Like, right. I should have handled it this way so that I'm not feeling where I am now.
This is the hardest one for me. This is one that I always have to remind myself. And so
about the scorecard,
just forgiveness in general. And yeah, scorecard, you know, I have like a crazy memory, and so I'll remember everything, and I'll get, the more I like fester with it, the more it bothers me. I mean, I think anybody can, I know a lot of people do that too, but really releasing that, like you said, in the past, even with it being whatever it is, as hard as it is, or even the worst things, it's really hard for me to release things. I know that. And so I have to remember this and constantly check out my life and make sure I'm not holding on to grudges or anything like that. Because it's really hard to do sometimes.
Well, and I think the thing too is when you focus on that other person, and we've talked about this a lot of times, you can't control people. People are going to be who they are. Mm-hmm. If you can say to yourself, I can't control that person, whatever they do is their decision, right. I'm not making that decision, I'm a separate entity from that person, it's a lot easier to forgive,
right.
and to realize.
It's also a lot easier when you recognize that you're dealing with people. Right. People are going to screw up.
Yeah,
sure.
And to me, if someone wants to be forgiven and is genuinely sorry, mm-hmm. they're forgiven as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. And not for their sake, but for my sake. And Lexie, you're just talking about holding on to it. Mm-hmm. When you forgive someone, and that's why to me it's important that they want to be forgiven, because when I'm going to forgive someone, it's done. You know, like, you're forgiven and I'm not thinking about it ever again.
Right.
Same. It just takes me a minute to get there, which is what I have to work on.
Well, and
that's my biggest thing.
I think with age, you realize too.
Yeah.
And I think you're still young and you're learning a lot of things in life. But even with my ex-husband, who didn't come home, had affairs and everything, the sooner I realized that he's choosing the lifestyle he wants, or he's making the decisions he's making, it has nothing to do with me. Quit taking it personally.
Yes.
Forgive myself and move on. And that's exactly what I did. And here's a man that gave me a big laundry list of terrible things about myself. I was a bad mom. I didn't make enough money. I didn't keep the house clean enough. Pick a thing. And yet I forgave him and just said, you're living a life that I'm not happy with. You're choosing that. And so we're just going to move on. I made peace with it a long time ago.
Yeah. And even in that situation, you got a divorce or whatever, but even in just marriage in general, when you have a disagreement or it gets heated and you say something, or the other person says something they don't mean, I know I'm the type that I'm a people pleaser, so if I know someone's mad at me or doesn't like me or something, it always bothers me. And so if someone hurts me, I always feel like, okay, well, you need to know that it hurt me, and you need to know that, like, you should, like, I get bad about being like, I want you to feel that hurt, and that's so wrong, but, like, deep down, and that's why I can never, it's hard for me to release things sometimes, and so when I actually release it, then I'm not feeling that pain anymore.
Right.
You could cut off maybe 3 of my fingers, and I could still count the number of people that would have enough of an impact on me to make me have a bad day.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know if it comes with age or if I've always been this way, but I'm just simply not going to let someone ruin my day.
Yeah.
And, and I think a lot of days get ruined by people that don't have any intention to ruin your day. It's just you allow
How
it
it
to
comes
happen.
out. Yeah, exactly.
And so that's one thing. The other thing, and I may or may not be counseling one of my friends on, he may be going through something right now, where his wife did something that is unforgivable.
Right.
And I was telling him, I said, well, do you want the marriage to last? He said, yes. I said, has she asked for your forgiveness? Yes. Do you truly believe that she wants your forgiveness? Yes, I truly believe it. And I said, is she going to do it again? And this may or may not be happening.
Yeah.
And I said, do you think she would do it again? He said, no. And I said, well, then you have to forgive her.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah.
And I said, you're going to have to truly forgive her. Look, I said, look, from this point on in your marriage, you can win any fight that you want because you have that in the vault.
Right.
Exactly.
But you know what? Just because you can win a fight doesn't mean you need to win a fight.
Right.
And so if you want this thing to last, not only do you have to truly forgive, but you have to let her know that you can truly forgive. Because if she thinks that you haven't forgiven and she's walking around on eggshells, that's not going to work either.
No.
No, and I think if he forgives her and he erases that from his memory and moves on, they're going to actually build a stronger marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she's going to know, you know what, I made a mistake and he still loves me.
Exactly.
And he can say, you know what, she did have a bobble or whatever, but she
We're all
means
human.
enough to me that I'm not giving up on her. And you know what, they may be much stronger in their marriage.
Well, and he got all, well, maybe this may have happened. He may have gotten all bowed up and mad and said, she doesn't deserve it. And it doesn't matter
Yeah.
whether she deserves it or not. As a matter of fact, that makes it even better for you. That she's able, just like you said, Lolo, that, hey, if you give someone forgiveness that knows that they don't deserve it, then you're building up that loyalty.
Well, and I think too, you know what, God forgives us immediately for things that we've done, and he forgets. He doesn't dwell on it, and he doesn't hold it against us. He still loves us, and he moves on. And we need to live that.
Yeah, he's already
Right.
forgotten about the mistakes we're going to make.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you know what? He's probably planned those mistakes for us so that we learn and we can learn to give forgiveness. But yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing that I like to post to remind people is, hey, God forgave you immediately. Go move on. Don't dwell on it. It's in the past, and
Right.
keep going. But a lot of people tend to internalize it and think it's their fault, and they can't forgive because if they hadn't have done this, if I personally didn't do this, then they wouldn't have done that. And you can't do
It's a
that
control
either.
thing.
Yeah, you can't do that. Let it go, move on. And
But it is one thing, if you do go through certain things or certain traumas, it's okay to hurt for a little bit. Sometimes that's how you heal. But once you feel like you heal, you've got to heal and forgive, finish that healing.
Right.
And not go back and say, well, I'm not healed from that. Once you're healed,
Yes.
you're healed. So
good point.
don't always use that as a crutch as, well, I went through this or went through that. And you know what I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's okay to have some trauma that takes time. It's okay for you to have to heal and feel hurt. That's okay. And that's normal. Just don't resent and don't,
Don't hold on to
hold
it.
a grudge.
Yeah.
Okay, how can we get a hold of you guys?
Well, we have a YouTube, and that's Grateful Gratitude. We have an Instagram, which is Grateful Gratitude 11. Our blog is gratefulgratitude.net. Our podcasts are here, and our Facebook group is Grateful Gratitude.
So basically, anything Grateful Gratitude except Instagram.
is
It's
Grateful
a-
Gratitude
yeah.
11.
Super.
Yeah, thanks,
Cool.
Mark.